Effects of Fertilizer, Organic, Inorganic, and Bio-Fertilizers, CSM15, Professor Hisasaga, by Damian Rodriguez, David Vizcarra, Emma Fabbri, and Said Arias. Definitions: fertilizer, any material that supplements plant growth chemically, vegetative growth, growth other than flowers and fruits such as leaves, stems, and roots. PSB, phosphate-soluble bacteria, helps the plants absorb phosphorus. Azospirillum aids in nitrogen fixation. Photoprotective pigments help in protecting the plant from too much sunlight. Introduction: inorganic, organic, and biofertilizers. Inorganic fertilizers are synthetically manufactured mineral sources that contain essential plant nutrients in abundant quantities, composed of non-living material put together through various chemical processes. Organic fertilizers are naturally available mineral sources that contain essential plant nutrients in moderate quantities, composed of organic material from a variety of plant-derived and/or animal manure. Biofertilizers increase the plant's ability to uptake nutrients, consist of active microorganisms such as bacteria, algae, and/or fungi. When it comes to inorganic fertilizers, the positive aspects is that they can promote essential plant nutrient availability. The downside is that they can have negative effects on soil health by potentially leaching into the groundwater and/or acidifying the soil. When looking at organic fertilizers, they promote long-term soil health by improving physical and chemical properties of soil. However, they may not contain adequate amounts of essential plant nutrients such as NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Lastly, biofertilizers expand the plant's capability to absorb nutrients by actively promoting long-term soil health. The downside is that they require specific conditions such as specific soil temperatures and pH levels.
Hi, I'm Damian Rodriguez, and I'll be discussing our hypothesis. Our group had two hypotheses about the effects of fertilizer. Like discussed before, this includes inorganic, organic, and biofertilizer. Our first hypothesis discuss how fertilizer will overall improve vegetative growth. Our second hypothesis talks about how variety of fertilizers is a key variable to aid vegetative growth when using fertilizers. This is our data. Here on the left, we have the data our three data sets are based on. This shows how much fertilizer was added to each treatment. Treatment 0 is our controlled treatment, meaning it has no fertilizer. So in the next two slides, it'll show how treatment 1 through 12 are more efficient in growth. On our right side, we have 3 inorganic fertilizers, that being nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. We have 1 organic fertilizer, which is known as farmyard manure, and then we have 2 biofertilizers, PSB, phosphate solubilizing bacteria, and azospirillum. Then this is my research question in our study. We focused on the increase in height of the tree based on the amount of fertilizer. As you can see in figure 1, the x-axis represents height and the y-axis represents treatments. Each treatment resembling a 150-day treatment. As you can see, T6 has the highest success rate, which supports our hypothesis that variety of fertilizers will improve height, in other words, vegetative growth.
These graphs show the rate of growth for leaves and branches. On the left, we can clearly see there was an extreme spike in number of branches at the 150-day mark. This is even more prominent looking at the tree height and leaf number, which are relatively consistent on the graphs. We focused on the height and the number of branches of leaves to understand how the vegetative growth was affected in the 150-day trial, with different variables like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, farmyard manure, and the different bacterias. With 12 total treatments that were applied, all of which were incorporated the same fertilizers, but varied in quantity depending on the treatment. The plants were measured at the 30-day increments up to 150 days, or days after treatment. Using data from effect of different inorganic, organic, and biofertilizers, on plant growth of sweet orange from the International Journal of Microbiology and Applied Science, we found in the end that treatment 6 was the most effective for vegetative growth, which was a mixture of organic, inorganic, and biofertilizers. In conclusion, we found that the different treatments affected the response of the crop. Treatment provided that had the highest effect was actually followed by a severe drop. Our treatment number 6 was obviously the highest, and in the graphs you can tell that there was a significant difference between the graphs, which might recommend or might represent a problem in their experiment or just a significant growth pattern. Thank you, and these are our references.